Hi, and welcome to the weekly predictions based on astrology for the week of April 19th, 2021. In terms of the stock market direction, I think it's going to be up Monday through Wednesday, and then it will turn in the direction and most likely will go down on Thursday and Friday. That said, this week does not have super strong transits, and so my predictions for each day are only about at 55% chance, so slight preference for the market going up Monday through Wednesday and slight preference for the market going down Thursday through Friday. To summarize also the focus of this week, I think there will be a lot of news related to either earnings, finance in general, banks, currencies, including cryptocurrencies, and financial policies and things of that nature. In terms of the gold and silver, I did expect it to top around the 17th, and as of today I'm recording this on the 20th, and I posted my predictions on the 19th on my blog at lostunka.com. So basically I did predict the 17th to be more or less the peak, with silver and gold rising within a few days prior to that. However, I think there's still a chance of it going up on Tuesday. I did expect potentially for it to go up on Monday as well. It didn't, but the main, I would say, for this week, the main turning day would definitely be around Wednesday. So if it doesn't, so Tuesday basically it may still go up, silver and gold that is, but it may not go up a lot, and certainly already starting sometime on Wednesday, I would say Wednesday afternoon, it would definitely, I predict that it would start going down for the rest of the week. Let's see. In terms of other interesting transits for this week, 19th through the 21st appear to be significant for the US, where there might be increased news about like communication and transportation businesses, and the news may be positive, such as increased of number of locations, expansions, especially overseas, more sales, more growth, more connections with international partners, or some laws that are favorable to improve situations, facilitate growth of such businesses. So this could be, airlines, car manufacturers, any sort of transportation companies, social media companies, etc. And also, again, for the US, 19th through the 21st, may see increased news about various social services provided especially to children and women, and or some sort of for providing security for them, as well as news related to any sort of businesses related to either growth of products such as farms, as well as grocery stores, food production kind of companies. So maybe, and again, those will likely be positive news, so maybe increased like aid provided to support, women and children who are in need, expanding some program that enables, again, maybe support for food banks, or support for people who have to use, some sort of assistance, like food stamps, and or some news about innovative projects that specifically aim at increasing availability of food and safe locations, again, especially for women and children. Let's see, and globally, 21st through the 25th, and especially 22nd and 23rd, may see surprising news, and or something that maybe was an expected report or news, but comes out sooner than expected, and that would be again related to either earnings, maybe a report comes out sooner than expected, or earnings are a lot higher, a lot lower than expected, and or news, again, some unexpected or surprising news related to banks, financial policies, currencies, things of that nature, or especially anything that's like digital or done online, so any sort of digital currencies or transactions, say payments that are received or sent over the internet. And the events in those areas may unfold faster than expected, and there may also be a lot of sort of stop and go projects or turnabouts. Maybe, the morning of one day we may hear, one policy is approved, then by the afternoon something has changed, or the expectations are built up for, say, some sort of a related project, and maybe for, like I said, sending payments digitally or via the internet or something like that. But then things happen faster than even expected, or again there's sudden loss of service, but then it's also very quickly restored. So a lot of surprises and a lot of these fast, rapidly unfolding developments. And what we may experience, also forex fluctuations, especially Euro and USD value. There may be currency swings, again, digital currencies and forex. So what might happen is that things may start out with a lot of excitement, especially 21st, 22nd, 23rd. And again, excitement is because there's some news, things, maybe a report comes up sooner, like I said, about earnings, or there are these volatile swings and somebody's excited to invest on this, up momentum. However, by the 24th, there may be a drop. If say a currency was rising in value 21st or 23rd, by the 24th, chances are it will drop. And that could be on concerns about stability or regulations coming into play, perhaps in response again to that volatility. However, after that drop on the 24th, chances are there's a bounce also that's going to occur back to up on the 25th, but it's not going to be as exciting as on especially 22nd and 23rd. Let's see. And also what we may experience, again, along the lines of something building out 21st through the 23rd, then going back, or some sort of delay on the 24th and kind of resuming on the 25th, is perhaps, say there's a discussion about some acquisition or sale of product or service or company, again, most likely related to either currencies, processing of like sales online, sending money digitally, or some actual bank or some finance related business, basically. So it could be that perhaps 22nd and 23rd is when the negotiations begin and the values being kind of discussed. Then by the the 24th, the actual sale may go through. Another sort of interesting influence that also covers those same dates of the 21st through the 25th approximately, and especially 22nd through the 24th, is there might be some increased focus on, again, transportation, communication, and especially anything that's like high tech, like maybe IT, airspace, electricity, any sort of complex technical either devices or manufacturers of such devices, or anything that's like flies into space and is involves some complex electric wiring, etc., some computer, AI and things like that. And so value of a related business or service or product may experience major fluctuation. And again, chances are it will skyrocket at first, especially 22nd, 23rd, then fall or be adjusted by the 24th. And yet again, things may slightly go back up, bounce back on the 25th. And the correction on the 24th, maybe again, because of the concerns about some long-term sustainability or long-term plans. So initially there may be excitement about this new innovative, cool approach, but then some pullback maybe on the 24th. There may be some pullback on the 24th because of concerns about sort of how long can this rally last, or how sort of sustainable and how practical is maybe an approach. But then things may slightly correct back to up on the 25th. Let's see. And so the 23rd and the 24th globally look significant, and that's Friday and Saturday, yet again for communication and transportation companies, and generally for sort of news and reports coming out at a fast pace. So a lot of like maybe negotiations or contracts, or just some discussions in the media and the social media, and a lot of people kind of voicing their opinion on something, and those news may be very much surprising yet again, and or there may be this flip-flopping. Maybe in the morning, things are going one direction, by the afternoon they change. Or perhaps there's some problems with, say, transportation, where maybe airlines are experiencing some delays or some flights are canceled. But then again, suddenly, just as suddenly, things may resume, and those flight delays and cancellations may kind of happen either throughout the day, Friday, Saturday, so 23rd, 24th, or again, it could be like something is canceled, but then things open back up sooner than expected, or maybe there's like a power outage, and so there's a temporary delay, but then again, the power is quickly restored. So these kind of on-off sort of rapid-fire news or changes in the direction, and specifically for communication transportation businesses, or just in terms of news that we will have coming at us. And there also may be more than usual, like if somebody's planning on traveling, there may be more than usual sort of share. They may experience greater than usual, like their share of surprises, where maybe there's a sudden detour, or again, the route takes them in a different direction, or suddenly the traffic is blocked and they have to turn back. So kind of expect these kind of either detours suddenly showing up, or traffic jams, again, where they usually maybe are not traffic jams, or some electric wiring doesn't work where it normally works. So something along those lines. There might be some kind of more chaotic scene for travelers and or for communication companies Friday and Saturday. And so to give a quick glance ahead, I put a few more glance ahead predictions again on my blog at lessongood.com on Sunday. So basically looking into May, the 20th and 21st may see increased news about the sales and transportation of things like oil, gas, chemicals, but also pharmaceuticals and other Neptunian areas, which could relate to like beverages, movies, music. And at that time, there may be some slight problems with those areas. So maybe if there's a delivery that's scheduled, or shipment, say there's a ship, some oil tankers scheduled to arrive, there might be delays with transportation, and that could be because transportation is blocked. There's like a bad weather or some confusion about where the ship is headed, for example. And there may also be 20th and 21st of May, there may be also increased negotiations and agreements related to sales of related products like oil sales, for example. And these negotiations at the time may not be going very smoothly. So there may be a lot of arguments, basically maybe about oil prices, what the prices should be set at, who should or shouldn't be selling, how should that be delivered, things like that. Then on the 22nd through the 28th of May, and yet again it's global, yet again there may be increased news on oil, gas, chemicals, and other Neptunian areas, which could be like navy, water, fisheries, etc. And at that time, just also like liquids, pharmaceuticals, and at that time there may be increased news about like those products or services kind of getting either green lighted to say flow. So if previously, let's say there was a blockage, where maybe a ship couldn't pass through 20th through 21st, by the 22nd through 28th, now the path, the route is open. Or if there's a delay in shipment or delay in some decision, perhaps negotiations about the sale, by the 26th and 27, 28, things now may be actually moving. At the same time, if there is, like excessive, say, precipitation around that time, there may also be just no stoppage or no way to kind of stop the water from flowing. So there may be too much water flowing. Maybe if there's a leak, like a gas leak or chemical leak, again, at 26th through 28th of May, it may be difficult to stop that leak. Just like, again, the positive manifestation is that maybe the previously blocked shipment route is open, but also if there's like a gate that's supposed to stop the flood, but it's also not open, and therefore, things are flooded where maybe they shouldn't be flooding. And then going into like early June, June 1st through 6th, and especially 4th through the 5th of June, maybe somewhat tense times where there's increased probability of various accidents, earthquakes, problems with either mining, mines, underground storage. So basically there may be some problems maybe with the recycling facilities, so something may either collapse, there may be an accident, or there's some escalation of like related to like governmental protests, anti-governmental protests, or some tensions among, say, countries, etc. Or basically just increased probability of various dangerous events, or if somebody is doing something risky, maybe like they're, flying with a parachute or something along those lines, those are not necessarily the best times to take risks. And there may also be increased sort of negotiations where, again, there are disagreements about oil, either oil prices, oil deliveries, etc. And in fact, as I posted an update yesterday on my blog, I think this influence may actually start as early as the 29th of May, but will intensify by early June. So it could be along the lines of maybe there being something at the end of May, there being either floods or some tensions involving, again, oil prices or Navy, or some concerns about, say, water pollution, chemical leaks, etc. And those things may be like a prelude to intensified kind of tensions or kind of angry responses in the early June. So for example, if there's like a chemical leak at the end of May because of some flood or something like that, then obviously there could be protests against that because of, water pollution in June, something like that. Or if there are escalations of some tensions among various like somewhere on the water, involving ships, submarines, etc. And that could be, again, late May. By early June, things kind of can become more contentious where they no longer involve necessarily Navy. It's just that things are kind of going to be escalating towards more arguments and kind of sides taking more of this kind of aggressive stance towards each other. Let's see, then continue on with oil. 21st of June, plus minus, I'd say 1 or 2 days, actually looks good for oil prices, as in like, by good I mean that the price of oil as well as gas and related chemicals may go up around the 21st or in the few days preceding the 21st of June. And then at the end of June and to early July, especially the 29th of June through the 9th of July, is going to be one of the, I would say, more difficult periods of this year, where we will have more precise Saturn and Uranus square, and we will actually have Mars joining them to form a T-square, and so that is quite a difficult, tense transit, and typically it would coincide with, yet again, variety of protests, violent events, bad weather that involves often like fires, and there may be also some problems with chemicals kind of exploding. Fireworks may explode, or something that's been perhaps stored where maybe a fire gets to it, and unfortunately things may get out of control, or if there are ongoing, like I said, skirmishes or some difficulties, unfortunately at that time things may kind of escalate. And if there are any, riots or anything like that, end of June into early July is definitely the time to kind of stay safe and away from any such dangerous areas. And then moving on to August. In August, similarly to April, for the US and I guess globally, there will be increased focus on the value of gold, silver, and US currency, and it may be related to some sort of news out of the US about either fiscal policies or some rates or something that affects the value of US dollar, and at the same time it may affect price of gold and silver, which I think it may go up sometime in days preceding August 9th, which happens to be Monday. So I would say the maybe the 5 to 7 days prior to that, the gold and or silver are more likely to go up. And also at the same time, the 8th through the 10th of August, yet again, there will be increased focus on the value of oil, gas, chemicals, pharmaceuticals, and all those other Neptunian topics. And at that time, so August 8th through 10th, oil actually may go down in value, and or there may be concerns about losses related to oil, chemicals. So perhaps if there was this oil spill or something like that, then the company responsible for it may be fined at that time, and they will experience losses. And lastly, early September, especially September 1st through 3rd, is yet again difficult time for industries related to like oil, gas, various chemicals, Navy, pharmaceuticals, things like that, and also increased probability, there's increased probability of these businesses experiencing some difficulties, oil prices going down, market dropping, and or there being some escalations related to arguments over oil prices, oil shipments, some sort of skirmishes involving Navy, and or some concerns about the epidemic yet again, because maybe there's not enough pharmaceutical for everybody, or there's some other kind of, not COVID-19 necessarily, but some other kind of infectious disease may be on the rise. So basically early September, we may expect some more stressful news related to oil, chemicals, pharmaceuticals, or healthcare in general, especially related to pandemics and infectious diseases, and some arguments involving like countries with their navies, or about the value of oil. And at the same time, I think the market may experience a significant drop 1st through 3rd of September. So that's it for me for this week and the overview. I hope you enjoyed this, and come back and check me out next week. Until then, have a great one. Bye.